lot of people only want to share the shiny part, but I want to share both.
He moved like a shadow, faster than the camera could follow, a storm of precision shaped by poverty, pain, and promise. For a moment, Jet Li was everywhere. Billboards, blockbusters, breathless reviews. Then, without scandal or flameout, he vanished. But the real story isn't that Hollywood gave up on him, it's what he chose instead. The prodigy from Beijing. Jet Li's story does not begin on a soundstage or a red carpet, but inside a cramped Beijing apartment, marked by absence and survival. Born Li Lianjie in 1963, he lost his father at just 2 years old, leaving his mother to raise 5 children alone under relentless economic pressure. Scarcity shaped everything, from meals to expectations, and childhood offered little shelter from responsibility or fear. At 8 years old, Li found an unexpected escape through the Beijing Wushu Team, a state-sponsored program designed to identify athletic potential with almost ruthless efficiency. Wushu was not merely fighting, but a synthesis of balance, speed, flexibility, and discipline, demanding total physical and mental surrender. Coaches immediately noticed something unusual, because Li absorbed instruction with frightening speed and executed movements with unnatural precision. By 11, he became the youngest national wushu champion in Chinese history, defeating adult competitors with composure that unsettled seasoned masters. He would repeat that victory 5 consecutive times before turning 16, establishing dominance that bordered on myth. During a 1974 diplomatic visit, the Chinese government selected him to perform for United States President Richard Nixon, a symbolic moment meant to showcase national strength. When Nixon jokingly asked if he wanted to become his bodyguard, Li replied that he wanted to protect all of China, a statement that crystallized his values early. Discipline, duty, and meaning always mattered more than individual glory. Stardom. In the East, temptation from the West. By the early 1990s, Jet Li had transcended national fame in China and entered the realm of cultural myth. His 1982 breakout role in Shaolin Temple had turned kung fu cinema into a mass phenomenon, launching millions of Chinese teenagers into dojos and training halls across the country. The film, made on a shoestring budget, became a generational event, and Li followed it with performances that elevated martial arts choreography into something close to poetry. His portrayal of Wang Fei Hung in Once Upon a Time in China was not just technically flawless, it was emotionally resonant. He played the folk hero with such clarity of movement and purpose that fight historians and choreographers still dissect those sequences today. Each kick, parry, and leap served not just to entertain, but to reveal something about a character who wielded justice as precisely as he did a staff. But as the 90s progressed, Jet Li's gaze turned westward. Jackie Chan had cracked the Hollywood code with Rumble in The Bronx and Rush Hour, blending martial arts with slapstick charm and box office dominance. While Li respected Chan's comedic skill and flair for stunt choreography, he knew their talents came from very different places. Li had the technique, the timing, and the presence. He just lacked the platform. If Jackie Chan could headline a major Hollywood film, Jet Li believed he could do the same, with even more authenticity. The question was no longer whether he could succeed overseas, but what he would have to surrender to get there. Hollywood's cage. Jet Li's arrival in Hollywood wasn't subtle, it was surgical. In 1998, producer Joel Silver cast him as the lethal triad enforcer Hua Sing-ku in Lethal Weapon 4. The role was short on lines, but long on impact. With barely 20 words of dialogue, Li stole every scene he entered, moving through the frame like a phantom with a pulse. American audiences, unfamiliar with his Hong Kong legacy, were stunned. Who was this quiet whirlwind who moved like no one else? Hollywood saw dollar signs. Within months, Warner Brothers handed him a leading role in Romeo Must Die, pairing him with R&B icon Aaliyah, and packaging the film with a chart-topping soundtrack. It opened strong in 2000, earning nearly $100 million worldwide. But even then, the pattern was forming. The romance that had been scripted, complete with an on-screen kiss, was trimmed at the last minute after negative test screenings. Instead of a kiss, the film ends with a hug. The choice wasn't artistic, It was market-tested hesitation, and it quietly told Jet Li what Hollywood was unwilling to say out loud. Roles that followed locked him into a formula, an exotic martial arts savant with minimal dialogue and maximum mystery. In Kiss of the Dragon, Cradle to the Grave, and The One, Li was rarely given more than a handful of lines. His accent, though increasingly clear, was cited as justification for silence. Yet other stars, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, even Jackie Chan, spoke with stronger accents and were never muted. Hollywood had created a box, and Jet Li, no matter how precise his movements or powerful his presence, was expected to stay inside it. He wasn't a character, he was a template. The hidden turning point. While Hollywood was still deciding how much of Jet Li it could commodify, he made a decision that quietly revealed everything about the man behind the legend. In the late 1990s, director Ang Lee offered him the role of Li Mu Bai in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, a character that would become one of the most iconic in martial arts cinema. The film would go on to win 4 Academy Awards and earn over $213 million worldwide, becoming a rare example of a foreign language film that captivated Western audiences. For any actor seeking validation from Hollywood, this would have been the dream. Jet Li turned it down. His reason wasn't contractual or creative, it was deeply personal. At the time, he had made a promise to his wife that he would not take any roles while she was pregnant. No matter how golden the opportunity, his word meant more. A promise is a promise, he later explained in interviews. He missed out on one of the most career-defining roles of the decade, not because he was overlooked, but because he valued integrity over acclaim. This moment reshapes our understanding of Jet Li's entire arc. While Hollywood read his quiet demeanor as passivity, he was making choices grounded in principle. He wasn't waiting to be cast. He was choosing how to live. And in doing so, he revealed the central conflict of his career. A man of discipline and depth, navigating an industry that often rewards only spectacle. The body fails, and so does the system. By 2006, the cost of Jet Li's physical perfection had become impossible to ignore. While filming Fearless, a movie he declared would be his final martial arts epic, his back seized up so violently during a fight scene that he had to be carried off set. Decades of rigorous wushu training and stunt work, often without modern safety protections, had damaged his spine beyond repair. Doctors delivered a stark assessment: compressed vertebrae, herniated discs, and nerve damage that would only worsen with time. But spinal degradation was only part of the diagnosis. Li was also suffering from hyperthyroidism, a condition that threw his metabolism into chaos. He experienced extreme fatigue, muscle weakness, and rapid weight loss. Some mornings, he couldn't stand without pain, and others, he couldn't sleep at all. The man who once embodied kinetic control could no longer trust his own body to move. Hollywood responded not with compassion, but calculation. Insurers deemed him a high-risk liability. Studios began to back away. Even when he joined the ensemble cast of The Expendables, his screen time was drastically reduced. Word spread that he couldn't handle long takes or brutal schedules. The roles shrank, the budgets got smaller, and eventually the calls stopped coming. Jet Li, once considered the future of martial arts cinema, was now deemed too expensive to insure and too fragile to fight. In an industry where risk translates to lost revenue, his body had become the final obstacle, one no amount of mastery could overcome. The warrior turns inward. The physical pain may have forced Jet Li to slow down, but it was a brush with death that made him stop entirely. In December 2004, while vacationing with his family in the Maldives, Li was caught in the Indian Ocean tsunami. The waves came without warning. Families were swept away in seconds. He and his daughter barely escaped to higher ground. Watching the destruction unfold just feet away, something inside him broke open. The randomness of survival forced a new kind of clarity. When he returned home, he didn't seek another movie deal. He sought meaning. He began studying Buddhist philosophy more deeply, eventually devoting himself to daily meditation and humanitarian work. In 2007, he launched One Foundation, a charity focused on disaster relief and poverty alleviation in China. He donated millions of his own money, but more remarkably, he showed up. At earthquake zones and relief centers, Jet Li worked shoulder to shoulder with volunteers, often without cameras present. His silence, once a tool for movie mystique, became a symbol of spiritual commitment. The public didn't know what to make of it. American outlets asked about his next film, failing to grasp that he had already chosen a different path. He wasn't trying to stage a comeback. He was learning how to live without applause. Fame had once meant everything, but now it felt hollow. To him, fame was never more than a reflection in someone else's mirror. Fleeting, distorted, and hollow. What remained, what truly mattered, was presence. The kind built not for the stage or the screen, but for the people beside him and the life unfolding quietly within. He built a body to defy gravity and gave it to the screen. But in the end, it was a promise, not a punch, that defined Jet Li. So, what does strength really look like? If this story stayed with you, subscribe, drop your thoughts below, and stay tuned for more.